Hello, ladies and germs. Thanks for joining us for another week in the Rec Poker Podcast. If you don't know what Rec Poker is, it's a free community for recreational poker players to share their thoughts, their questions, their answers, and their love of the game. So go to rec.poker right now and sign up for free. All it takes is an email address and a smile. We're going to be smiling a lot today because we've got a couple fun guests to talk to later. But first, I want to thank our sponsors, Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, and of course, website AMP. And I want to introduce the other members of the Wrecking Crew because it takes a village around here. So Wrecking Crew members, why don't you tell the folks where they can reach you?
Well, I'm Chris Jones. You can find me on 5B5 on Twitter and 5x5 on PokerStars.
And I'm John Somsky. I'm Poker Geek MN everywhere.
I'm Rob Washam, and I'm Rabman50 everywhere.
I'm Tim Fritz, and I'm Misclick Donkey everywhere.
It's true, he is. And I see we're just getting joined by Kim Kilroy, so I'll let her introduce herself afterwards. But I want to say a couple of things right off the bat. First of all, we're trying to find out how we can do things better at Rec Poker. So if you have a minute, go to rec.poker/survey and fill out a few questions that Chris Jones has put together to help us see what we can do even better in 2022. And I just want to thank Colin Anderson and Danny Schneider, who have been fantastic premium members here at Rec Poker for a while. We were going to be doing our Reckies Awards show this week, and that has been postponed until later in the spring, but I'm really looking forward to getting together with everybody and celebrating 2021 in Rec Poker. Okay, drum roll, please. It's time. So every once in a while, oh, here, Kim, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself to Rec Poker Nation just to put off Joe a little longer since we already got the drum roll going. I'll let you jump in when the time is right. Here we are. It's Joe Stapleton and Josh Wilson. We got Joe back, everybody. Yep, that's right. Drum rolls, waves. It's a new year. It's 2022. It had been too long. Joe, welcome back to the show, and thanks for coming on the air.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Cool to be here with my buddy Josh, too. Josh is a friend I made. This video window won't ever go
It'll
away.
definitely be the wrong person, but
right
yeah,
there.
Go for it.
Anyway, Josh is like everyone like made friends during quarantine, like during pandemic with people, like friends that you would never have met before, and like these really great, beautiful friendships and relationships all blossomed from something very terrible happening in the world. That was Josh Wilson is one of those people to me, so I'm happy to see him here. He's diving into the poker world, but I'm so glad you showed up, Kim, because at first, I thought I was going to be on the most diverse poker podcast that ever existed. And I was just like, man, can we throw another bearded, chubby white guy into the mix, possibly? And thank God Kim showed up.
It's true.
So it's just you could just like slap a different name on this, like, the white supremacy hour. Everyone would believe that. So let's
Thank you. Thank you for introducing that kind of terminology into the first few minutes of the podcast, Joe. You can always count on Joe Stapleton, folks. That's
SEO
wonderful.
is going to go through the roof when that thing filters through Google.
But yes, we are on the chubby, middle-aged, bearded gentleman's club podcast here, as we were saying. It's more of a gentleman. So thank you for coming on. And Kim's actually quite an active member of our leadership here. She hosts a couple monthly study groups and a poker empowerment session, and she's an active member on the leaderboard, of course. So thank you for joining us here. So Joe, last time you were on, we sort of picked your brain about all sorts of things to do with comedy and poker and life in media. Now that you've had a chance to reflect on your time since your last show, it's like kind of like two eras, right? Like you've been on the Rec Poker podcast and now you're in the new chapter of your life. What's that been like?
That I will always remember the turning point of coming on the Rec Poker podcast. That's when things really went up and or down for me. When I was on last time, had I like gone back to doing comedy yet or not? I mean, at crossroads of what I wanted to do.
It's hard for me to imagine you ever just like not doing comedy. So but it sounds like you've made a real pivot back in that direction.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, comedy mostly went away, especially if you are not a very famous comedian. It's been hard to get back into it, and I've definitely questioned whether or not it's worth the effort. And I've ultimately decided that it is for now, because I like the creative outlet of there being a place where I can say mostly whatever I want, as opposed to when I'm working, when I need to, do my job a little bit better than that, than to just say whatever I want all the time. So it's helped out a lot to be able to voice some things that also, like, I don't get given a hard time for the things I say online, but they're received differently. It's just received differently. If I want to do a joke about the pandemic, I could do it on stage in such a way that, like, even if we don't like line up on every single opinion on things, like, you can see the humor in my joke, as opposed to online where like almost no one sees the humor in anything, and it just ends up being like a fight, and then I have like a pit in my stomach all day, and then I'm like driving in my car like pulling over to respond to people, and it's just, and then if I go on stage, I do one joke you don't like, that's it, it's over, we've moved on to the next thing. So for now, all of that's still going well for me. It's getting a little tedious constantly shilling for them. Like, I wish I could just tweet once about it and not have to worry about how many people are going to show up at these shows. That at my level, they do, expect's the wrong word, but there is like a strong preference for you delivering on some members of the audience. And that's the most stressful part of it for me, is not only like achieving that, but the way that I achieve it is at great emotional cost a lot of the time, and financial a lot of the time, where like I'm inviting people who I know like don't have a ton of money, and honestly I don't care about the $15 their ticket costs. I just want them to be there, so I end up buying a bunch of tickets a lot of the time, or I end up like hand holding people that can't just read a link and find parking on their own and know where to ask in a bar, like where is the comedy show taking place, and so they're like texting me, and and people also have sort of expectations in return that is hard to pay back en masse. When, let's say, 10 people come to my show and then 3 of them are like, oh, well, I have an art exhibition next week and I have this thing, and like I want to be there for everybody. And I'm not saying that I shouldn't be, but it'd be nice to finally be at a point where I can like just show up and do my set and leave, and like not have any admin to go along with that, and then have like any extra time I put in be just joy, like hanging out afterward, because I want to.
Is that attainable in the professional realm? Like, is that what would be like? How do we get you there? I guess
I don't know how we get be there, other than time and effort and continuing to do the things the way I do them. Unfortunately, like those stepping stones, those opportunities, like many other businesses during COVID, they dried up a little bit. It was hard enough to achieve it. Like, let's say, for example, like 2 or 3 people are getting passed at the Comedy Store every year, which is like, that's like the pantheon, right, of having made it. Now it's like 1 or no one for a year and a half. And that sort of has a knock-on effect. So like the spots that lead to those spots, there's fewer of those, and now there's fewer feeder spots into those spots. So, that's where I had to make the decision recently. Hey, do I love this enough? Is this enough for me in and of itself, without that being the goal? And for 2 reasons, I decided to continue on. Yes, it was. And B, I just don't want to look like I failed. Like, if I quit doing comedy, that means somehow I failed at comedy. Like, no one ever considers it like, oh, like he just made like a pragmatic decision that like he has a good job and like and plenty of friends and like doesn't spend enough time doing other things he likes to do, so he stopped doing comedy. No, it's a failure at comedy. So I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not going to ever admit I failed at anything.
That's right. There you go.
So between those 2 things, we're sticking with it for now.
Nice. Well, I think that is just a silly way that humans think about things, right? And it's true for relationships as well. We think about like every relationship that you have that you don't end up dead in is a failure in some way or something like that. But no, it's just
correct.
People have different jobs and different partners and paths and that sort of thing. It's part of a rich, full life. So good for you.
Yeah, it's like when someone used to say to me, like, you're 39 years old. Why do you think you're single? And I'd be like, I know. It's fucking awesome. Like, it's not because of mistakes I've made. It's because I've orchestrated things incredibly well to get here.
Yes. Nice. Okay. So I have a question, because I think comedy is something that, there's this kind of like institutional knowledge, there's this camaraderie, there's this fraternity within it, that I think when you have a moment like this that's 2 years long, 3 years, where people aren't as active in it, I feel like there must be some kind of gap that's created. And how do you see that playing out? Like, what's the kind of loss for comedy as a whole that we're seeing as part of this?
Well, that's a really great question, and one that is good. And answer number 6 may surprise you. The For me, it's that I found out who my fair weather comedy friends were, and like who were friends with me because I could connect them to people, and because I have a line on good opportunities, and I was running my own show in Vegas, right, where I was paying the comics and paying their expenses. And what I didn't hear from many, many comics for like 2 years during the pandemic, I was like, oh, these are the people that like that I was always introducing to bookers, and this person runs that show. And now that there's no people for me to introduce them to, I haven't heard from them. And that doesn't make me mad at all, actually. Like, I don't really care. It just means that I'm less likely to waste that sort of energy on you in the future. I don't take it personally. Well, maybe in one case I did, but for the most part, like, I don't think that you should have to, like, when you write me an email asking for a favor, like, you don't have to be like, hey, what's up? I hope you're well. I'm like, no, just get to the thing. It's okay. Like,
Right.
don't worry about it. And I know most people aren't like that, so I don't really fault people for it. But I'm like, it's cool. Like, because I've been in that situation too, right? You're like, oh fuck, now I really need a fucking favor from someone I haven't spoken to in 5 years. Like, and I need it quick. Like, how do I approach that? So, I try to just pay it forward in those cases and don't let them bother me. But I think for other people, comedy, for the cliques that did exist, I think that those cliques actually got stronger. But I think that that's a bad thing. Like, I feel more on the outside of comedy than ever. And that's one of the things that I don't love about the way how it makes me feel, is that, like, you guys ever been in the casino and you're at a craps table and like everyone's like fine, whatever, but there's another table like 2 tables away and they're fucking just going, they're having the best time. Like, they're just like high-fiving each other, and like the pit's got to tell them to calm down, and everyone's going nuts and spilling drinks, and you look over them and you're like, fuck them, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you guys. Comedy can do that to you, right? When you, like, recently, a bunch of comics at the Comedy Store who I'm already super jealous of, like, posted all these photos and videos. Like, apparently Quentin Tarantino hung out for like 3 hours and like let everybody hang out with him and everybody do social media with him, and like went into the bathroom with people and like pointed out like pictures on the walls, and like everyone was doing it on Instagram. Like, I was crazy. I was already jealous. And then I was like crazy jealous that I'm already not in this group and they're doing like cooler things than they even usually do. So that kind of, that sort of the shoring up of the comedy circles, and it's now harder to break into them, sort of trickles down to socially as well. And I feel more like a outcast outsider in comedy than ever. Which, some of that is self-imposed. Anytime you kind of feel like you're not accepted in a group, oftentimes much of it is in your head. But, it didn't do anything to help it in reality or in my imagination, the fact that now people are so much tighter in that world.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what about the poker side of things? I know it's something that has been a part of your life, but it's not something that you're like a passionate player yourself in your own time. What's next on that front, or who are you talking to about poker these days?
Sure. Yeah. No, poker's been really, really cool. And that, as I mentioned, pandemic poker was really great for a lot of us socially, and just sort of like, keeping roots and keeping connected to people, and also, for lack of a better word, networking too. But that's an important part of life. That's, an important part of like our entire, fish tank, is like, you got to keep swimming. You gotta stay moving. If you're not growing, you're dying. So, those things helped. And then recently, as things have been opening back up again, I've been getting invited to live poker events to kind of go there as a person of interest rather than as a pure customer, and that's been really fun.
Nice.
I went to Thunder Valley in Sacramento first week of January, where their poker room manager gave me my own 45-minute headline comedy show, which was, I mean, it wasn't just 45 minutes. He said, it's your night, do what you want with it. But he saw me for 12 minutes at the Sacramento Punchline last time I was in town, and he said, I want you to do a whole show though. I don't want 12 minutes. I don't want 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, I'll try to do at least 45. And that went really well, except for the fact that it was a very intimate crowd, just full of poker people. And so a lot of people felt like that was an invitation for it to be a two-way chat. And that kind of fucked me up a couple of times. Not that anyone would notice, and everyone thought it was hilarious when I was telling these drunk idiots to shut up. But that's not the show I wanted to do. So...
But drunk idiots are normally really receptive to that kind of helpful feedback.
Well, they are. To be honest, I don't know if we talked about this last time. Like most people that heckle, right, for lack of a better word, they think they're helping.
Right.
They think they're helping.
Yeah,
and what happened after this show, that's happened to me multiple times when there's been hecklers, is I take the person aside and I go, look, I'm not mad at you. We're friends. But that was obnoxious, and you need to learn how to behave in a comedy club. And every time I've ever done that, the person looks at me, and I can see the heartbreak in their eyes and them realizing, holy shit, I wasn't helping. I was actually being rude. And they're shocked. They're like, they couldn't possibly have realized that. And in all of the cases, they apologize.
Because they're not immediately. And like they've got love in their heart, right? Like they're doing it. But you can see that I choose you moment where the heart breaks right in half.
Exactly.
Mid-conversation. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard.
And so, at least one of the people from Sacramento, immediately in this moment said, I'm sorry. And then multiple times since then has been like, I'm really, really sorry. So anyway, we're talking about poker. So I get to do cool things at live poker now, which is cool, being an invited guest to some of these things. Still doing Sunday Million broadcasts every Monday for PokerStars. Back doing that this year, unless there's a special event going on. By the way, Sunday Million broadcasts are on a Monday. They do the final couple tables on Monday.
And where can our audience go to find that feed when they want to come and check you out?
That's at twitch.tv/PokerStars. And all of this stuff gets advertised on my Twitter is the best way to keep up with me. That's at Stapes. So we're doing those for PokerStars still, and we're doing the weekly podcast, of course, Poker in the Ears. Did you guys? This is gonna sound like such a douchey comment, but did you guys get nominated? Are you guys nominated?
I don't think we've reached the level of notoriety where we got nominated. Did you get nominated?
I did get nominated.
Oh, you did? Congratulations, Joe. That's
and
wonderful.
when I say I got nominated, what I mean is that I am the only person that has anything to do with the Poker in the Ears podcast, and
you've made that very clear.
And I am self-made, and I am the only one nominated. No, me and Hardy get nominated for Poker in the Ears, which is cool. Our show's a little bit different, which is also cool, is that there's not a lot of poker shows all trying to do the exact same thing, even though there are tons and tons of poker podcasts out there. There's different strokes for different folks. I like that. But we've got some cool guests lined up already for this year. We closed out last year huge. We had John Hamm, I think, on like one of our last shows of the year, which is fucking cool as hell to be able to hang out with him for a little bit. Funny story. So the night that we're like trying to get John Hamm, he came in last minute at the 0 hour. I was up all night stressing about it, and he was in Scotland, so we had a time delay. And all of a sudden, my friend who was hooking us up, he was like, I can't stay up anymore. Hamm, Stapes, Hamm, you guys know each other. and we do know each other. So then Hamm is like bored on set or something, and we're doing like the back and forth, like email jokes, ripping on each other kind of thing. And like, I'm just having like the time of my life, but I'm like, I don't want to take this too far. I don't want to like I don't want to be like the guy that like they end and then I'm still sending emails. So I like quit while I was ahead in that. Smart. But then the next morning I woke up to give John's email address to our production manager to get his release signed, and it did that thing where when you open someone's contact and like their email address is right there, like I went to go long press the email address, but right as I did, like the contact shifted, like it updated information or something, and I fucking FaceTimed John Hamm hours after I'm like, oh, thank you for trusting me with this. Like, I wouldn't fuck with this, yada, yada, yada. and it only did it for like a second, right? Like I was like, ah, but
Yeah.
I'm like, did that show up?
Oh, now
What do I do? Do I send like an email being like, sorry, I FaceTimed you, John Hamm. It was an accident. Ha ha. Like, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck to do. And I did end up confessing to it when we were like had a little pre-show chat, and he said he did see it, but he wasn't terribly concerned by it. So
No. There you go.
So
well,
yeah, that's
good.
what's going on poker-wise. I think I'm heading down to Jamul Casino in San Diego for the 1st of February through 6th to do some more fun stuff for Run Good. Maybe try to book a show while I'm down there.
Nice.
But yeah, man. Oh, and the EPT, fingers crossed, is going to be back. Right now we're scheduled for Prague to happen in March.
Yeah, right on.
I will say that some events we didn't even get to announce at the beginning of the year already got canceled.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Before we told people about them, even. So, fingers crossed this will be the first EPT stop back. And I know PokerStars, one of the things I really love about them is when things have been shit for a while, they want to come back with like a bang. They really want to come back with like really cool stuff. And hopefully there'll be a PSPC 2 announcement, once we get up and running. And I think whatever they come up with for that is going to be even bigger and better than the last one, which, as we know, was probably the biggest, baddest thing that's ever been done in the history of live poker and qualifiers and all that. So, so we got we're pretty excited about the coming year. Thank you.
No kidding. And hey, on a personal note, and for everyone at Rec Poker, we're all so pleased about Chad McVean. Yeah, Dave's just putting in the chat here as well. What a perfect situation that ended up being. And just all of our, if I didn't have the headphones on, I'd take my hat off to you right now. That's just a wonderful way to reward one of the really great people in the world of poker.
So Josh, there's this guy named Chad McVean, and he listens to all the poker podcasts. And to be honest, he does such a good job that when you asked me, you were like, hey, are there any like poker podcasts I should check out? I just went to his page and just copied and pasted what he had to say.
That's awesome.
So he like reviews every poker podcast every week. And so we had him on the show and we gave him like a prize worth like $30K as like a thank you. So,
cool.
It was really, really nice to be able to take care of that. And he's just a very cool, active member of the community. So yeah, go Chad indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a big part of what we do here.
Are any of you furiously jealous with him?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding? I've already told him we had a whole event session. No, and he's really excited, obviously, and I know he's already got some plans to get all drilled up and practiced up and get the reps in and go crush it over there. So, kudos again, way to go. So talking about sort of like being close to poker. One of the subjects that is on everyone's mind these days is NFTs. You were kind enough to invite your friend Josh Wilson here to join us. Hello, Josh.
Hey guys.
Thanks for coming on the show,
because
man.
I want to know more about NFTs.
Yes, well, that's it. So we're going to pick Josh's brain a little bit here. Josh is involved in the industry, and first of all, poker players generally, they're good at analyzing risk. They're good at sort of like spotting opportunities to invest. I think poker Twitter, was obviously all over crypto well before it got popular. And so there's all this kind of early adopter attitude about poker players generally, I think. So I know a lot of people have heard NFTs. They may even have heard a non-fungible token. But I think they just feel like it's a PDF or something. It's an image that someone else can't own. Just generally dumb it down for us a little bit and talk to us about NFTs and what makes them cool.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, guys. And you hit the nail on the head. That is a really common kind of depiction of the NFT space in general is, you get the general, it's a JPEG, right? And it's a JPEG that you can't hack. And, where's the joy in that? Well, I can just right click and save it. And then I own it. And, the response is you can also take a picture in front of your buddy's $1 million house. Doesn't mean you live there, right? So basically, not NFT exactly is a non-fungible token. It's a crypto asset. And as far as like general education on NFTs, Coinbase is the best platform as far as if you're new to the space. If you go to coinbase.com, that's where a lot of people either have or will purchase their first cryptocurrency. And it's a crypto asset that you're purchasing typically with Ethereum or Solana. There's a couple of different platforms that support the NFT space in general. And And in its simplest form, it's digital art, right? And the analogy I use over Christmas with my family, because now that the word is out that I'm in this industry with my family, right? They're like my 80-year-old stepfather trying to explain cryptocurrency to him. I mean, he still drives to the store and buys paper every morning, right? So
right.
you can imagine how that went. And so, explained to him is basically, when we were all of a certain age, right, and MP3s came out, the majority of the people, myself included on this show, probably said, nobody's ever going to not own a CD. I don't, what's a digital music file? I can never own that. I got to download it on something, right? I can't listen to it in my car, or I want to be able to own it. I want to be able to listen to it whenever I want. That's really a large part of it, right? Is that, things are going digital. Another portion of it is it does, because everything's on the blockchain and the blockchain is public record, it eliminates fakes. So imagine if you could buy a painting or, baseball, I'm sure looking at the demographic, as Stapes alluded to earlier, we're all card collectors. We've all done a case break, right? I'd be shocked if everybody on this, and most of you listening haven't done the case break. So same thing, right? You can do a case break, you get the kind of the sweat, right? And the excitement of doing that. Maybe you get a good card, then you got to have it graded out, right? And all that. So it's also immediate gratification, right? You mint or an NFT, you get that same sweat of like revealing, a new asset, right? And not sure what you're going to get. And then because it's on the blockchain, you immediately know what you have. Or if you're buying on the secondary market, you can look and see what things have sold for previously and kind of do your own research in that regard. So
Josh, would you say it's fair that like a brief summation is that like you have to like the look of the thing you're buying at this point, that it's mostly to appreciate it as a piece of art, and then sometimes some other things come along with it, but that really, if you look at it as, hey, I just like this art and I want to own it, the same way as if you went to an art gallery and you fell in love with something, that's really the healthiest way to look at it at this point, right?
Yes. And the only thing I'd add to that is, it's gambling, right? I mean, it's a speculative asset for sure, just like cryptocurrency is. So, like we always say, not investment advice, do your own research, right? So
Sure.
that's number one. And just like buying art is a speculative asset too, right? Unless you're buying a Monet or Picasso or something like that, right? That has that intrinsic value. But 100%, the best advice I got when I was starting in the space from our buddy Jamie, who's a mutual friend of Stapes and I, always said to me, if you're buying things to try to flip them, you're doing it wrong, right? Buy things you love and support projects that are backed by good people. There's a term doxed in the industry, right? So in the fall and winter of last year, all these crappy projects were selling out with these cutesy little characters that had no utility. And, and it was like, NFT guy 44, right? But there's nobody's face to it. So, there's a couple, like you hear the term rug pull. There's a couple scenarios where these guys sold up these projects and promised all this other utility. And then that was never realized. So now, but the good thing is the needs of the consumers gotten a lot smarter, right? So now, I always recommend talking to anybody, back projects by people that are fully doxed, that they know who they are, who you're giving your money to, you're investing with. And then the other term aside from, and yes, you got to love the art, right? If you're buying it just to flip it, I would never recommend that. Stapes, to your point, the other thing is utility, right? So what is this? Because it's a non-fungible token, right? So what is that token going to give you access to? And there's some really cool projects out there. Bored Ape Yacht Club being the biggest one, right? Bored Ape Yacht Club started really going crazy when they had a warehouse party in Brooklyn, and only people that were holders could come. And then it kind of went from this metaverse kind of conceptual thing to in real life. And that's, it was a big jumping off point for them. So utility is another key point too.
Yeah, so part of it is kind of the value of its signature and its authenticity itself, right? Like what you could do
Correct.
with that as a framework as well. That's interesting. So if anyone else, just say any of our premium members in the chat here, or welcome us on the show if you have any questions about NFTs or crypto.
So maybe one day there'll be a rec poker NFT, and to ask a question, you'll have to hold one.
Right? See, the possibilities are boundless.
So
I think they're pretty bounded.
in that case where they used it to get into the yacht club, so the NFT is on the blockchain and that says that some wallet ID owns that particular thing. how does a person say that wallet ID number corresponds to me? Because it's still, in other words, how do you prove that you own the wallet that owns the NFT?
Right. So it's a good question. So there's a short answer and a long answer. So the short answer is, well, the longer answer is just like
I was gonna say I've never known Josh to give the short answer. For
I always
anything,
take the long way around, but we got time here, so I'm going to give you the in-between answer. Everybody has 2 cents. I give you $1.50, so that's how it goes. But yeah. Anyway, so we, in short, there's companies like Unstoppable Domains and ENS right now that are allowing you to tie in, as opposed to having a wallet, a 16 to 20 character wallet ID, are allowing you to say, so mine, for instance, jpw.eth. Right, Stapes is Stapes.eth, right? So that Stapes's personality, that Stapes's home in the decentralized internet and Web3, right? So there's companies like Unstoppable Domains being my personal favorite that is making that more possible, so that you can tie in that wallet ID to your decentralized internet personality, if you will, presence, portfolio page. There's other companies. The short answer is there's other companies that there's one company whose name doesn't come to mind now, but we're actually using on my project that. So when we have live events, they verify your wallet. There's a bit of code there, right? And they verify it, and then they send you a ticket. And then when you go to the event, what they'll do is they'll take the ticket that you got from your wallet and they'll match it up to your ID. So that ticket's issued to you, John Tomsky, right? And so in your wallet number, blah, 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 whatever. And then when you go, they're like, okay, this ticket was issued to John Tomsky. Here's your ID. John, you're good to go. Come on in. So that's how that works.
Great. Now I got to change my wallet ID now that you've told everyone what it is.
Yeah, now everybody, millions of podcast listeners across the world now know.
Now they're going to have Web 4.0. Josh just ruined 3.0.
I blew it, guys.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Thanks a lot. So I'm kind of curious about if you have any theories as to why there's such a large overlap between the poker world and the crypto world, the poker world and the NFT world, or am I just seeing that because I'm on the inside, and is it actually a wider spread phenomenon than that? What's your take on that?
No, 1000% you're correct. It's not, there's a saying, you can't read the label from inside the jar, right? So it's not just that we're all poker people and this is the only world we know. Your assumptions are correct. I mean, I've talked to friends at research firms like McKinsey that say, there's not an exact number, but if the real world outside of poker is like 13%, 14% adoption rate, in the poker world, it's like 60 or 70%, between just general awareness of crypto and NFTs in general. So that's the first thing. And so the second thing is we were all the freaks and geeks, you know what I mean? Right? Like when we were growing up, I mean, I don't know if anybody here was the coolest kid in school. I mean, maybe Stapes, but probably not.
Stapes. He'll tell you anyway.
Definitely not
cool.
Stapes.
I was definitely not cool at all.
No, so you know what I mean, right? So that there's a little bit of that like kind of computer geek, like gamer, angle to it. And the last thing is we're all gamblers, right? So fuck it. I mean, if I can, I mean, that's my attitude a lot of times is, I mean, there's a whole do your own research and I talk all this like great, I tend to give better advice and I'm terrible at following it. And I will buy something because some guy I played poker with, on Poker Stores 2 weeks ago was like, oh, this project's sick. And I'm like, cool, $2,000 in NFT, done. Like, so I just, because I'm a gambler and I just don't give a shit. And you know what I mean? And I give good advice and I don't follow it. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Well, trust me, the world of poker coaching is a lot of giving good advice that we don't follow. I assure you.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
I was at, I'll tell a quick Vegas story. I was with my good friend Scott Blumstein. We were in from Vegas one time and Scott's giving me a lot of really good gambling advice because Scott won the main event, and Scott's a professional gambler and we're there one time. He said, never bet parlays. I'm a big sports gambler. Never bet parlays. Only the house wants you to bet parlays. I was like, okay, Scott. We're hanging out one night, having a couple of drinks, and he said, I'm going to go put in a bet for us. And he came back with $100 parlay. And I said, Scott, what's this? He said, fuck it, we're on vacation.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, but that's Blumstein's a great example of that. Great friend, unbelievable, unbelievably talented card player. But, sometimes we're just vibing out. We're just, whatever. I don't know.
He's there to have fun too, right? That is part of it.
He is. Yes,
well, this is the rec poker. The rec is for recreationals because even though we might be serious amateurs, but we enjoy it. We're doing it for the love of the game, and that is part of it. And I know you're a big poker fan as well, and so you've developed kind of this crossover event between NFTs, cryptocurrency, no limit holdem. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how people can get involved because it looks extremely cool?
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Yeah. It's so the name of the project is called CryptoHoldem. That's the hat here. And so CryptoHoldem is exactly what you just said. It's the first live NFT Texas Holdem, no limit Texas Holdem NFT community. So it's a living and breathing community on Discord, free to join, free to play. We play poker every day there. We first got going like August, September-ish, and had kind of our initial phase was like this awareness phase of gathering information, talking to people in the community. We have a huge number of international players that are on. So, and now we're kind of in phase 2, which is the play, learn, and earn phase. So we're playing poker every day. We play 6 days a week in qualifiers, and then we have our Masters tournaments are on Wednesdays. So we're going to have a ton of chances to win whitelist spots. The whitelist spot, for those of you new to the space, is there's always kind of the public on sale, and then there's a whitelist spot. So think about it like if you're a fan club of a band, the fan club usually gets the better price and, an earlier window, same type of thing. So if you join the Discord, Crypto Holdem, and the link will be here in the chat, I think, after we're done. But if you join the Crypto Holdem Discord, you're active in the Discord, you can earn a whitelist spot, and that enables you to purchase before the public on sale at a reduced rate. But basically, we talk about access, prizes, and education, right? APE, and what we're going to offer is access to some really cool live events. We're going to be sending. We have 3 years of utility built out for the project. So if you choose to invest in the project, every year we're going to send a player to the World Series of Poker main event. So we're going to pay the 10K entry fee, airfare, and hotel, which would be a great, especially for recreational players, right?
Hell yes, sir. Yeah.
People that I know, like me, I don't have 10K to go get my ass kicked, and just say I played for a day, So a great feature for recreational players. We're also, because of a lot of our international folks, we're going to have a 5K buy-in for the bracelet event, the main event, online. So we're going to send one player to each of those for the next 3 years. We're going to have a live event in Vegas this year. We're still waiting for the WPT to announce the schedule, but sometime in July-ish, when or near that final table is going to be going off. We're going to be having a huge member event, a la Bored Ape Yacht Club, where if you're a holder, you have exclusive access, and you can come join us. And then education, we partnered with Masterclass. So if you've heard of those guys, those two guys that nobody's ever heard of, called Phil Ivey and Daniel Negreanu, have classes on there. And Phil and Daniel are not affiliated with the project, but they have classes on there. So we partnered with Masterclass. So anybody that buys our NFT will have a 1-month subscription to Masterclass, with the idea that they can take the Phil and Daniel's class and any other classes. So, we want to be able to say with a straight face, if you're buying into our project, you're going to have a chance to win some great prizes. You're going to have access to poker events all over the world, and you're going to have the chance at educating yourself on how to be a better player. So
right on, Josh. Well, it sounds like a cool project. So
Thanks,
sum it all up. Where's the one place that people can go to get more involved and to find out more about it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the best place is to go to our Discord. If you're not a Discord person, and I get it, go to our Twitter page, just like Stapes. The Twitter is at CryptoHoldem NFT. So if you go to CryptoHoldem NFT on Twitter, you can link to our Discord. If you're on Discord, it's CryptoHoldem NFT. We're pretty much CryptoHoldem NFT anywhere.
Right on.
Yep. So that's the place to check us out.
Well, thanks, Josh. And I hope if our listeners or the folks that are watching along on YouTube get a chance to tap them on Twitter and say they heard them on the podcast. And if they have any questions about crypto or NFTs or this kind of stuff, you can reach out to Josh, as he says there. I see we got a couple comments in the chat here. Dave says, Joe, I gave away my VR goggles. Could I have gone to that online show you did a little while ago if I didn't fall asleep before it started?
Oh no! So part of the that big show I did up in Sacramento, where I did the headline set and there was heckling and all that. This buddy of mine that we started podcasting together years and years ago, and we've gone our separate ways professionally, but still try to check in every once in a while. He bought a comedy club in the metaverse.
Oh.
Yeah, and so there are a couple of different metaverses, and one of them is called Portals, and he, for real money, bought a comedy club like in their downtown area of the Portals metaverse, and he convinced me to simulcast my comedy show into the metaverse. So you did not need VR goggles for it. So the metaverse will eventually be, something that it becomes more like a real world. We walk around it. At the moment, this particular one is just a web page. and you create a little avatar. It takes about 30 seconds, and you run around in this virtual comedy club. And like a real comedy club, it had capacity issues. I think we were limited to 35 people or something that could be in there. And then what you do is you decorate it with NFTs. So like, let's say that you buy like a
Of course,
a CryptoHoldem NFT, and you're like and you have like a poker room in your metaverse thing. You can hang it on the wall there, which is another one of the things. Like the utilities of NFTs eventually are going to be like little props in your sort of fantasy metaverse world. So you did not need the VR goggles for that. I am concerned that you got rid of your VR goggles in general. There's like a lot of cool VR stuff going on out there. But on the one hand, I also do kind of understand, because VR is like, it's an ordeal when you do it, right? Like it's like swimming. Like you can't like swim and do other things.
Yes.
Right? When you're in VR, you can only be in VR, and it's like a pain in the butt to take a drink, to go to the bathroom, to whatever. Okay, you got eye issues. Sure. Well, that makes sense. Evil Roy, good to see you, by the way, buddy. I've known Evil Roy for a long time. What's up, homie?
I was going to say, you're no stranger to Evil Roy here, I'm sure. Speaking of poker podcast aficionados.
I mean, Evil Roy, didn't you do music videos for us?
I know he was on an episode in the last little while. I think he performed well in a trivia contest.
No,
Is that right?
The music video guy. No, I did the versus Stapes thing.
Right.
And then I was a Poker Rogue guy too a long time ago. But
yeah, that I remember for sure. I thought you were a Huff and Stapes guy too, right?
A little bit.
Little bit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Dave's one of our premium members, and we like to do things as a community here. So every week, our Wrecking Crew members are here to ask questions and to get involved. And our premium members come along, and they're welcome to join the panel too. So we're starting a few things differently, like Joe, I was telling you earlier, as part of this roll into 2022. So if you're listening at home or watching at home, if you're a premium member, come on and join the panel, and you can talk to cool people like Joe Stapleton and Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson, about all the exciting, great stuff that they're bringing to the show, and whoever else we bring from time to time as well. We get some fun folks here, so come and join along. All right, well, thank you, Joe and Josh. We're going to start talking about our home game events next and all the exciting stuff that we got coming up there. But it's always a pleasure.
Do you guys care if I sit here and troll your home game results? Is that
okay?
Okay?
That would be awesome. Please do. Nothing would make us happier.
How long does this go on for?
I mean, honestly, I'll tell you. So the home games is like a few minutes. We get through the list of winners, and then we're going to talk about a few things that's going on this week, and then we're out of there. So troll us. Do your worst.
I'll stick around to the end.
All right. Yes, we got him, guys. We got him. We got him with the reverse psychology.
Thanks for having me on. It's my wife's birthday today. Otherwise, I would stick around too. So
yes, sir. Okay.
I need to go.
Birthday,
get the hell out of here. Yeah, exactly. All right, Josh.
Take her to dinner before somebody else does. So I appreciate you boys.
Yep.
Thanks for having us on.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Oh, that's fine, man. He gave us way too much time if it's his wife's birthday.
He's fine.
It's clear which one of those has the better life. Anyway, so for our nightly events, we have Carl 0621. Carl Anderson won his first nightly event for the year.
Carl, how'd you ever come up with that name?
Yes.
Yeah. Deuces Wild 810. Kevin Kaloff won his first nightly victory for the year. East Coast Spitter Ben got his first nightly victory for the year.
Nice.
And Keto Man 335 Kian Tavakoli got his first nightly victory for the year.
Can I ask a question about what's happening right now?
Yes.
Is this like you know about all these things that are happening, or this is kind of like getting your name on the birthday board at Shakey's? Like they let you know, they call you and they go, "Oh, I have my win," and then you give them a shout out.
This is actually done in a PokerStars home game. So I set up all of these tournaments, and I have all the results come to me.
Got it. So this isn't like just random people that you don't know being like, "I had my first win this week." Can you know?
No. This is John isn't comfortable talking about it, but John runs an obscene number of online home game tournaments for us.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
It actually started. They said hey, could we do just a tournament a month? And I said,
One a
oh,
month.
sure.
One
I
a
can do
month.
one tournament a month. That's no problem whatsoever. And then we got to talking and saying, hey, what about mixed games? Okay, 2 tournaments a month. No limit hold'em on the first Wednesday, then a mixed game the second Wednesday.
Perfectly
Well,
reasonable.
Then COVID hit, and they said,
Oh, this was all pre-COVID.
this was all pre-COVID. Then COVID hit, and it was like, oh, what about one a day?
Just while we're in this odd quarantine time
Yeah,
and everyone else to
right,
stay home, we'll just
exactly.
for
I
a
said-
few weeks and then we'll see what happens afterwards. We'll just try
Well,
that.
I guess I could do that. Oh, by the way, Saturday, some of the international people would like different times that they could play. Oh, okay, 4 on Saturday. You got it. So now, anyway, we do about 500 tournaments a year that I've got to keep track of, and these are the winners of those tournaments.
Hey, that's really cool, though. I'm glad I asked that question,
Yeah.
and it sounds like a really cool community to be a part of.
It is. It's actually a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and the nice thing is these are all play money games, so no real money is actually exchanging hands or anything that's non-fungible whatsoever.
So what's weird is that when I started playing PokerStars VR, this guy, his name in there is Look to Windward. He said the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. He goes, "It's not real money, but it is life or death."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
exactly.
That's just the fucking best way to describe, folks that really are just there for love of the game. Like they're just there because they love playing poker, and that's really cool. And I'm glad that you're out there for people. Hey, you probably do this already. Can anyone just join this, or how does that
Absolutely.
work?
All you need to do is sign up for rec.poker, get an account there, enter your PokerStars username in your account info in Rec Poker, and then I'll approve you to the home game and you can play whenever you want.
That's really cool. All right.
Yeah. And people have talked about it. I'm not making this up. People say it's the toughest play money home game that they've played in. People are there to learn. People are there to share their ideas with other people. It's very friendly. Everyone's always chatting with each other, and you take hands from it and post it in the forums and talk about it in the show and that kind of thing. It's a big part of what we do, and it's all because of this guy over here, John Somsky.
God, I would love to do an experiment where you take like one GTO player and put them in your game for like 6 months and see. Because I bet they would struggle.
I think our tool would do pretty well. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
When you're playing against a bunch of people that don't play the way you expect them to
yes,
play, it can really befuddle pros. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
It sure is. Dave says that's how I took Poker Road home game too, life or death. Yeah, that's right. And and I guess Joe, for just to give all the information, we play for these little rec poker pins. The games are free, but we mail out these little pins to the winners over the course of a year, so they can go represent us and show their pride, and a little something for bragging rights. So you might see a few of the guys a few of them have some pins up on their hats. Some of them do. Anyway,
that's pretty dope. That explains all the hats more than baldness.
There's a little of that. It can be both. It can be both.
Right.
All right. Then we have Poker Wannabe. Ron Payton got his first nightly victory for the year.
That's right.
Noah 1291, Noah Anderson won the daily mixed game challenge.
Another Anderson. That's the Andersons are kind of taking over. We might have like a Moss situation over here soon.
Oh yeah, we might need to be careful about that. Then the 9 a.m. international event did not go because not enough people signed up for it before the tournament started.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have the 2 p.m. event, and Trey 371 Thomas Pena got his first international victory for the year.
Nice.
And Keck Geek Mark Kiki won his first LPP Sunday event. So he can contact Jim at rec.poker and get 1 free month at Learn Pro Poker.
Fantastic.
And
way to go for Mark.
Contact Jim at Rec Poker to get your butt kissed.
That's a full suite of services that we offer here at Rec
let's
Poker.
go.
But great to go for Mark Kiki. Yeah, email me jim@rec.poker and I'll send you that link to your free month of Learn Pro Poker, just in case you've got some time. I hope you get a chance to enjoy this. I know the Kikis are a very busy family. Mark and his son Jacob are both killers at the poker table. So I'm not surprised at all to see them in the winner's circle. And actually, I have one announcement to make on that note. Eric Anderson, who won the Learn Pro Poker tournament last week, emailed me and said, you know what, guys, I have a lifetime membership to LPP already. So give that prize to somebody else. And he wanted to give it to the person.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, and is the person that makes him the most happy in the whole world, Joe Stapleton. He said to give it to the person who bubbled the final table in this Sunday's tournament. So we took a look at the results. Eric actually looked it up himself. And it's a Night Owl 1, the Canadian player Night Owl. So Night Owl, if you're listening, send me an email, jim@rec.poker, and you have earned a free month at LPP, which you will really enjoy, I'm sure.
I believe that is Chris Ruim,
if
my memory serves.
Yeah, so he's no stranger to the winner's circle. I know I've seen his name before. That makes a lot of sense. All right, well, let me see. What else do we want to talk about before we get on out of here, gang? I know, Joe, you mentioned a Run Good event. Yeah, Chris, I know, has to go because he's starting our monthly seminar with Dara O'Carney in about 15 minutes. So,
I just want to jump on and say this month in the seminar, we're doing satellite play. So if you're interested in learning about how to qualify for bigger events, come listen to that because it'll be up on the site pretty soon. And then I just wanted to also mention on behalf of Taylor Moss, we are starting to gear up for our second ever Ma Rec Madness. So
yes,
we will be having a bunch of heads up play, which will be coming to you in bracket style all throughout March. So stay tuned for details of that because we're just about ready to get that going.
And you'll be able to fill in your bracket too and say who you think is going to win.
Yeah, I was talking to website Mark about putting that together just this week. So Joe, we do a March Madness ladder style heads up tournament. And actually, I don't know, I'll put you on the spot right now. If you were really like a really nice person, you would offer to help us with some commentary in the booth or something like that for one of these, or get oh, I did put him on. I'm not, no, Joe.
So hold on a second. One is that I have certain exclusivity.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
However, if this is something that's happening in a PokerStars home game and it true, there is no money changing hands, I'm not drawing dead to be able to do it.
All right.
So I'll say it's a possibility, but also, it's schedule permitting, and I'm happy to do things for people that are kind of like work for me, as long as they happened at convenient times where I'm not like giving up something else I want to do to do it. So I'm pretty nice,
Joe,
when it comes to that sort of thing. So let's talk. Send me the details. We'll see if I can do it.
Okay, I got halfway through saying it as a joke, and then I realized that you might actually think I was serious, and now I think that you might actually do this, which is the coolest freaking thing
ever. Oh wait, no! Now you're gonna tell me actually it was a joke. We don't want you. Is that what's coming next?
It's unattainable. We're not gonna get Joe freaking Stapleton into the booth. Are you kidding? This guy is like way beyond our reach. There's no chance. He would never do it.
You just led me down the primrose path so fucking hard. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I'm like, well, I have to check with legal, and you're like, no, we don't want you. Like, don't do that.
Well, in all seriousness, it was I shouldn't have put you on the spot, but it would make our dreams come true. So I will reach out. We'll see what we can do.
That's okay. Like when I said goodbye to John Hamm on my podcast, he was like, anytime, and I'm like, I know you don't believe that. I know that's not true.
All right. Well, you're very kind. You did mention the Run Good event that you're going to be enjoying down in February.
Yes.
We love Run Good. We partner up with them all the time. We're actually heading down to Council Bluffs for the Iowa trip. Tim Fritz is going to be there. Andrew Feiss is going to be down there doing a couple of meet and greets and that kind of thing as well. What do you like so much about Run Good? Why are they such a fun group?
Well, it's kind of like why I like being here. It's a really great community. The purpose of it is it's fun to win money, but it's not the it's not the main reason why people are there. I mean, look, there's like very few pros that go to it because the buy-ins are like
Right.
a little too. It's like not really worth a pro's time to go play a 550 main event. So
Perfect.
that's in my wheelhouse. That's the kind of money that if I won a tournament like that, I'd be super, super happy. And when I lose, like I can deal with it. And the other comparison to this particular group here is that like people are happy to see me there. Like, people are just like, oh wow, it's Joe Stapleton. Like this is a good get for us, and I like that feeling. I
Yes.
like feeling like I'm a good get and I'm making people happy. And then when I take a photo with somebody that they're like genuinely thrilled to have met me, like that's cool. Like I'm fucking in this to be famous, so why not like go be famous somewhere for a couple days?
Yeah, enjoy it. God damn. Rob, are you get a chance to do any? Is it still on your bucket list? You get to a run good event?
Oh, I'd like to, but it's a little far right now.
Yeah, you're not going to be making it to Iowa, I don't think.
No, I'm not going to make it to Iowa. San Diego would be closer.
Yeah, well,
What do you,
one of
what do
these.
you like Colombia or some shit?
No, I'm
You
in
on the run?
Arizona. I'm
Oh,
in
Arizona.
Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Joe, you've been so kind. You gave us way longer than I asked you for. You're just such a gentleman. I love hearing from you here in the booth. And I hope we get a chance to talk again real soon.
Yeah, buddy. Go ahead and send me the details for that other thing. I'll see what I can do.
What a guy. All right, you're going to hear from me. So thank you again to our sponsors, Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, and website AMP. And I want to thank John Somsky, Dave, Rob, Kim, Josh, of course, Tim, and Joe, and everybody else who's listening. Thanks, team.